Hello, everyone, and welcome to this wonderful episode of the Level Up live stream. With me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as the Mechanic Critic. And with me is the ever amazing, ever wonderful, ever magnanimous Brad Talton Jr.
Yep, it's me, Brad Talton, president of Level 99 Games, and I'm glad to be here.
Why do you do this? I thought we were doing an ASMR stream,
What?
right?
Whispering does not automatically make it ASMR. You've got to
Sure it doesn't,
you got to
right?
do sound effects too.
Okay, here. Does that work? Like, is that a thing?
What is it supposed to be?
I'm just scratching my microphone.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. Maybe
Oh.
I'll shuffle some cards or something, and then it'll be a true board game ASMR.
That should be it. That should be our new niche. It's just not even shuffling cards. We're just picking up component pieces and dropping them onto a table while an ASMR mic is pointed at it. So it creates the illusion of your child ruining one of your board games.
Is that even still a thing in 2024? Are we still on ASMR?
Yeah.
I thought like everyone was over it by now.
No, it's decently popular on TikTok. Some VTubers do it. It's
Okay.
just a thing. It's a
Okay.
thing. I've never experienced ASMR.
Mhm.
Like, I've never understood it or gotten it. So
When
more
it
power to
was
the people.
like when it was first came about, it was like a sleep aid thing, right? Um,
It's like white noise.
yeah, it's like, well, it's, I mean, the concept is the same, right? But obviously it's not white noise. It's a very specific noise, but it's like background noise so that that it's not silent. Um, it was almost like, I mean, it was almost in the same category as guided meditations, if I recall. But anyway,
Yeah,
uh,
but instead of like a monk, whatever, teaching you to be your best self, it's like
right, it's noises from the office that you just escaped.
right, or like some role play, like your best friend tells you that you're doing good or something, right? Like,
I think that's more in the affirmations category.
okay, I see.
Yeah, the affirmations is where your best friend tells you did a good job. But if I needed that, I would just call up you, Marco, and you could just call up me, because you're doing a great job.
Oh, thanks, Brad. I think you're doing great too. But you know what else is doing great? The stream. We have a wonderful docket for all of you tonight. It's going to be really fun, really quick, really easy, really simple, and really clean.
Yeah,
But
and we're like
for
really
now,
early, aren't we? We're like minutes early on this stream, but we
we've
usually
never
start
we've
late.
never been this early. We've
This is
never
this is
been
the
this
power
early.
of doing our tech check before the stream launches.
This is why I always ask for a tech check, you
Mhm.
know?
Well,
But
yeah,
but
your
Brad,
wish now is my command. A tech check, a wild tech check appears.
a wild tech check has appeared, and a wild Mark is asking Brad how his week has been.
Well, we're really just getting started. So things are going good. We had a lot of prototyping going on uh, this last week. So doing a lot of cool prototyping. We've got a lot of exciting things coming up. The things we work on now are the things that you'll get to see around like winter time or this time next year. So, you know, um, anyway, that's
How
the
is how that is the burden of being like we're currently working. I talked about this with
yeah.
some of the fans before, but by the time everybody else gets really excited about a project, we have known about it for years and have been playing it for
Right.
like months, right? Like it's kind of wild sometimes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but Brad, I wasn't asking about work. I was asking about you personally. How are
Oh,
you?
well, work is my life, Marco. So
Don't
if
stop
work is good,
it.
if work is good, then I'm good.
Stop it.
Channeling
Stop
Joshua
it.
here. No, life is good. Had a nice weekend with Davey. Davey came over and we played some Bloodborne, because apparently he's been sleeping on this
Actual
game. Yeah. And
Actual
so,
Bloodborne the video game or Bloodborne
Mhm.
the board game?
No, the video game. Yeah.
Got
So
it. Wait,
I,
you can play that multiplayer?
no, we just like did like play and pass, because like I beat the game
Ah.
like 3 times, and he had gotten stuck at like the first big milestone, Gascon, and so I was we went through that fight, and then we went to what's it yeah, and then we got all the way to like some of the big moments in the early part of the game, like Vicar Amelia, and yeah, it was a good time. So yeah, we sat and did that, and um, yeah. But how about you, Marco? What did you do this weekend?
I bought a new laptop. Woohoo! I got a new laptop, so now I can play Yakuza Infinite Wealth.
Tell us your specs so we can judge you.
It's not like high spec, right? It's a 4060.
You told me this was a serious gamer laptop.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a serious gamer laptop. It's a mid-range laptop. It's a mid-range
Oh.
gamer laptop, right? Like it cost me like $1,500, something like that,
Oh, okay.
right? Like it's
Well,
not too.
that doesn't say too much because laptops cost different things around the world. But what's like? Is it fast? Is it running your games? What's the highest end game you run? That's what we want to know.
I'm currently running Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth on the highest settings, so it works, right?
Mm.
I don't feel any hiccups or anything.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're being judged. Marco's backpedaling.
No, I finished Lies of P last week. That was super cool.
With the lies P.
Yeah, my hot take: not enough lying in this game.
Not enough lying. Maybe
Not
that
enough
was the
lies.
lesson. Actually, I was really, I was about to ask you, right? Like, did you want the lie?
I felt like the there were no like they like all the lies were white lies. Like you lie to protect somebody's feelings, or you tell them the truth to tell them the truth.
Wait,
there was-
really? Is that it?
there were no like where you could lie to like take advantage of somebody and like extract something from them that you maybe wouldn't be able to normally. Or you would lie, because you didn't trust somebody. But you would never, there was never a moment in the game where you could like someone would ask you, hey, is it safe in that cavern? And you could be like, yeah, it's safe, so that they go first. You
And
never
they
got
die.
a situation like that where you could lie to the other party's detriment. You only
I
lied
think-
to your own, benefit or detriment.
I think lying I think that's the message of the game, right? Because like, long story short, your Pinocchio wants to be a real boy / human, right? And to be human is to lie, but the message is like lying isn't always bad or whatever. Like it's like,
Yeah.
humans lie all the time because they want to help other people feel better or be kind to other people.
Like,
and sometimes being
li-
kind is lying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes you like if you told the truth to like you could lie to protect somebody's feelings, but if you told them the truth, you would get useful information and it would be better for you in the end, in the outcome. But yeah, it was anyway, interesting game, cool game. I did feel like it was kind of a diet Bloodborne.
It is a diet Bloodborne.
Yeah.
It is, right?
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. I do anyway. I could talk about this game at length, but how's Like a Dragon? You should tell me about your game, Marco.
Oh wow, thanks, Brad. I really appreciate it. I've just started. So for people who don't know, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Yakuza 7, is my favorite JRPG of all time. Yes, even considering old Final Fantasies. Yes, even considering like Dragon Quest and whatever. So it is literally just my favorite JRPG of all time as a JRPG fan. And Infinite Wealth so far has started strong, especially because they don't do that thing where they just ignore the events of the old game.
Mhm.
So they kinda acknowledge the events of the first game without requiring you to know those events. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, as long as it's not required, because that was my huge complaint with a lot of JRPG sequels, right? Like I turned on Kingdom Hearts 3, And I'm like, surely I'll be okay to go into this having only played Kingdom Hearts 2. And as
No.
soon as they started talking about Digital World stuff, I just like, popped it out and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
To be fair, the digital world was in Kingdom Hearts 2, but whatever, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but like you can't be referencing like a game that was, like 20 years old at this point, right?
Brad, my favorite part about Kingdom Hearts 3 and the Kingdom Hearts lore in general is that they have a dumb, bad gotcha mobile game
Mm-hmm.
that is entirely lore relevant. Like the things that happen in Kingdom Hearts 3 that you're missing out all happened in that gotcha game.
And it's only Japan, right? It's like a Japan only game
Yeah,
too.
it's a Japan only game too. It's so insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, Like a Dragon's been really good in that sense. So like they reintroduce a bunch of the characters that were your party members in the first game. And this game takes place like 3 years after the first game, so you kind of see where the characters are now compared to before. But if this is your first time, yeah.
Or rather, you go ahead. I something has come up and I need to run to the door.
Oh no! All right,
Sorry.
time for Marco to hold
Marco.
down the fort.
Marco
All right.
hosts.
All right, so they introduce a lot of your old party members from the first Yakuza Like a Dragon here, and you see where they are 3 years after the events of the first game. But if this is your first time playing this game, they just get introduced as characters, right? Like this is just this character, this is their job and occupation, and that's it, right? So you don't really need to know anything about the first game, which is kind of interesting. But of course, you will get more enrichment from it by playing the first game first. Crystal Project's my second favorite game of all time. Like Crystal Project is my second favorite JRPG of all time. It's so weird because they're kind of really close, because Like a Dragon loses to Crystal Project in the mechanics department and the game experience department, or like the game emergence department. But the story is just so good. It's like I actually cried at the ending of Yakuza Like a Dragon. Like actual tears. Okay? But Crystal Project just has like some of the most amazing gameplay ever. So Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth currently has a lot of improvements from the first game. So it's gonna be awesome. Are you serious? Are you serious that there is a Metal Gear Solid pachinko machine that has lore relevant cutscenes, or are they just cutscenes that are actually from the games? Or are these unique, bespoke cutscenes for the pachinko machine? Okay, unique cutscenes, but the story. Why? What if it's just the story of 4? Why not just reuse cutscenes? This is insane. Why do it like this? Aren't all visual novels just lore is gacha, but instead of the gacha being like you put coins into a capsule machine, the gacha is you say responses to an NPC? Huh. So they're just more high definition cutscenes? No, you don't get to pick because you don't know the end result of that choice. So what you get from choosing that thing might as well be random, right? Look. In real people. Real people. Suddenly the choices aren't as well, you don't know, right? Like you have to understand, right, that the caricature of VNs in general is that like 90, like, half of your responses actually don't matter except changing one piece of dialogue. And then, the other half is that they'll present you with, like, give the character cake or give the character cookie. And if you give the character a cookie, it unlocks a secret ending where you find out they're an alien space monster. You know what I mean? Like, that might as well be random, okay? That might as well be random. Like I get it that some people don't consider it random because of the obfuscation or because there's no dice present or because it's not literally random. But like, how in choose your own adventure games, those click and point adventure games, some of the games are like, well, now you gotta take a mustache by getting a duct tape and then putting it on a cat. Like, that's random, right? Like, that might as well be random. So this is my point, right? Like, a lot of the time, sure, your choices are congruous with the story, but a lot of the time, sometimes your choices just don't make sense. Or the results of those choices just don't make any logical sense. Or if they do make logical sense, it only makes logical sense to whoever wrote it.
Hi, I'm back.
Right. Hey, Brad. We got to talking about visual novels and how I think visual novels are just pachinko but with lore.
That's why you keep trying to push me to make a visual novel card game, right? So that we can transfer those pachinko mechanics into tabletop.
Truly, so that we could make a real pachinko lore game.
I want to thank you for carrying the torch. That was my friend Paul, and he brought by 3D prints of the BattleCon miniatures that we've been working on.
Okay. Well, you've spoiled cool. That. So let's go into the first segment of this stream. Let's talk about what's happening. Brad, what do you mean BattleCon miniatures?
Okay, so as some of you may know, we last year set up an art and sculpting studio in Cyprus called Rustmoon Studios. So they've been working for us, and one of the projects that we wanted to do is a miniatures game set in the world of Indians. The game is called Wardens, and it is a skirmish scale minis game with some MOBA elements to it. And we are planning to release it super soon. I'll be announcing it in a few weeks, but those of you insiders who are here can hear the details first. All 10 of you.
Truly. Yeah. I mean, I think our most dedicated fans who show up to these streams are deserve to know first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, what do you want to say about this game, Marco?
I think this game is going to be really interesting. I'm a big fan of MOBAs. I love MOBAs, despite the fact that MOBAs make me rage. So this is kind of like, what if we could remove the rage from MOBAs, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we've accomplished most of that. I also think that this game's going to be really interesting because we get to now see some of the Indians characters that we haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. There's a possibility that they can now appear as playable characters. For example, certain characters were not compatible with BattleCon because, they did was heal people.
We never got to make Kavri because she's a healer, and we knew that healers existed in this world, but they didn't make any sense in BattleCon, right? The closest we got was Magdalena. So being able to have like characters in other roles show up, more support roles, and maybe to fully realize like characters that have siege roles like Wendy, will be really cool.
Right. So
yeah,
I think that'll be really interesting. It also fleshes out the lore, right? Like if you've been reading the Grand Chronicle or reading Argent, this game will come up and it'll fill out some lore gaps. It'll be fun.
And I think I'd say too, like these are big minis. They're like amiibo scale minis. So the game is really has a lot of presence.
Right. Oh man, it'll be great.
They're very, very cool, very detailed. And the idea, maybe I guess, should I talk more about deployment, or do you want to talk more about gameplay? What should
I
we say?
think we should. I don't think we should talk about gameplay so much because it's still a bit in. Well, actually, they're intertwined, right? Because
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah, you should talk about deployment. You should just
Okay.
talk about deployment.
So we're really early in this game. Like, we know that we're gonna make it. We know that it's a miniatures game. We know that it's Indians. What and the core mechanics. Right now, the game is pre-balance, and it's even like in kind of gameplay design. We're doing a little bit of work, and what we plan to do is to release this game in like bites. So and then so we'll get together our first set of minis, and then we'll make those available for download as STLs, and fans can print the game and play it at home and check it out and give us feedback and assist us in bringing this game to life. And then after we do like 4 or 5 or 6 pods like that, we've got the game in a really great state and the community around it, then we'll do a real physical release that like comes in a box with with cast minis. That's the plan right now for this. So actual release date for this game probably in late 2025.
Don't even give dates, man.
Yeah,
Don't even give
super
dates.
late. But first date that you'll be able to play this game, probably summer.
Right. So it'll be interesting, so this kind of deployment model is very similar to how we used to do playtesting, right? Essentially. But
It's
this time
similar-
we're not keeping it from anyone at all, right? We're not even getting a small cabal of people. We are just letting everyone at it.
Yeah, you just
right?
basically buy the STL and you get to play, and that's pretty similar to how like a lot of miniatures games start up, especially like they use more of a Patreon model, and so that's what we're trying for this project, is to do it more like modern miniatures games are launched rather than more like a board game. So,
Right. So it'll be interesting. It'll be so interesting. So let's talk a little bit about what we have in terms of mechanics and not anything set in stone. Does that make sense?
yeah, I think
I
that
think
makes
if
sense.
you're a fan of, I think there's measurements, right? So it's not a grid-based game, so that's important, right?
But it does use the play and response mechanism that you would recognize from Exceed.
Or Gloomhaven, or card play. There's card play.
Well, specifically like you play and it initiates a
strike
an exchange. Yeah, where I can
Yeah.
counterplay. So that's sort of how that goes. So yeah, I think it's a lot of the things that we learned from BattleCon and Exceed now translated into a 3D space. And uses a pretty neat measuring system, pretty simple measuring system. Like there are fixed measurements in the game. So rather than saying like, oh, we're going to use like 15 or 30 inches or whatever for an attack, you just have like, are you in melee? Are you in short range, long range, or extended range from your target?
Right.
And
those movement applies too, right?
Yeah.
And there's just like 4 measurement sticks or whatever
Mhm.
that you can just move the things within, right? Like you put them against the base, and you can just use that to measure, and that's it.
So
right?
our goal is to make it like the real space aspect really quick and really unambiguous. It should be very obvious whether you're in range or not for any attack you do. You might have to measure, but generally you're going to know. And
right.
because it's like a play and response system, what's more often is that you'll play a card and move out of somebody's range, and that's what players will want to do, is to be using the ranges to dodge or to find cover.
I really think that the best and most innovative part of this game is that it's a minis game where part of the core combat is dodging things,
Mhm.
right? Like, because in a lot of minis games, dodging, you have to pre-dodge, right? Or you have to use cover. But the moment you are in line of sight of an attack, you are getting hit, right? Like that's just the case. You are just getting hit, unless your
Mhm.
character has some special ability that allows them to, negate hits
Yeah,
or
and
something.
instead you like you'd roll dice to see, oh, if I block, if I manage to dodge or if they manage to hit, and in this game it's kind of like, do I have a response that this character can use that will allow me to physically take cover from the attack, and if I can't, then it always hits.
Yep. It's very interesting because it doesn't feel random anymore, right? Like, let's say you're fighting against a really agile character. Well, if you target the agile character, well, of course they're going to be able to move around a lot, right? You target the big tanky guy, well, they're not going to be able to move around a lot, but they have a lot of health, you know?
Right, and
Um,
you might move them in front of your squishies to provide cover, right? So it's
right.
you
They
can
can
do
turn into
both.
cover.
Mm-hmm.
Right, right. And you can like have tanks take aggro, like literally you could just redirect attacks to your tanks and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So it's going to be really interesting. Somebody in chat says, "How do you plan to disincentivize rocket tag gameplay?" And I have no idea what rocket tag means.
Yeah.
There you go. When both sides are made out of squishy characters with the means to easily squish the other side. Well, we just talked about it then.
Yeah. So one thing that that does make this game a little bit different is that because it's MOBA based, I'm not trying to like wipe out your team. I'm really trying to complete my objective, which is to go after your base, as opposed to so like characters actually revive in this game, and they basically get benched for a few turns and then come back to play. Knocking out the opponent's character is a means to an end, at least in current
Right.
gameplay. These are some of the
We
things
don't know
we're
yet.
still testing out, but that's the core
Right.
model. Anyway, we're getting
And
like super deep into
we're
Wardens,
getting-
and this was supposed to be, yeah, this is supposed to be a very light introduction to what we're planning in the next like 2 months. But there you
Okay,
go.
so there's Wardens, and now we've said the name.
Yeah.
We have no idea if that's the final name though, right? That's like the testing name.
Well, that
Um,
is the so Wardens is a game that's played in World of Indians, and so that's kind of what we're basing it on from a lore perspective, which will allow us to like not tie it to any particular moment or conflict, but we can have characters from history and future
Anyway.
and different eras coming together and make it more of an anything goes sort of game,
Right.
rather than
Can I put my
forcing,
OC in it?
yeah, you can yeah. Like,
Yes.
instead of it being like, oh well, these factions always work together and they have these objectives and so forth like that,
Right, so it's a bit like Valorant or literal League of Legends, right? And the lore of League of Legends, Demacia and Noxus are at constant war with each other, but you could literally have Garen and Darius on the same team,
Yeah.
So it's a bit kind of like that. Okay, so there's Wardens. Let's talk a little bit more about other things that we've done this month. We released Card Catcher. It's a cool game, available right now for $12. Brad, tell me about Card Catchers. This is your baby.
Yeah.
You helped make this.
Yeah, so for Card Catcher, what do I say? This is a lightweight game. It is based on the arcade crane games. So have you ever played one of those games where the claw, shoots out and drops down and then tries to grab a plushie, and inevitably you miss and like slam your fist on the machine and go ah. That's kind of what we tried to capture with Card Catcher, except that you do get a lot of plushies out of the machine. It's a real space dexterity game. It's great for families, and it's super light and easy to play. It's only $12, so you can take a chance on it. We'd hoped to have it in time for Christmas, but actually it just took too long to freight over, so it was a little bit slower getting here. But now it's here. Now it's out. You can go get it, and yeah, I'd recommend checking it out. But I made it, so don't take my word for it. Have you ever played this game, Marco? I think this might be the one game you didn't help develop.
No, this is the one game I did not help development on. And
So
Card
the
Catcher.
first level 99 game in nearly a decade that doesn't have Marco DeSantos in the credits.
Correct.
There
It's
you go.
weird, man. Which is ironic, or maybe like odd, because there are multiple level 99 games where you are not in the credits, which is so wild.
Yeah,
to
it's
me.
like more common for me to not be involved in a game than for you to not be involved in a game.
It's so wild. Like, because to me, level 99 is Brad, and Brad is level 99. So it's like, it's
Yeah.
weird for that to be the case.
Well, we when, in publishing we kind of talk about like fingerprints, and you can kind of tell that that a game's been administrated by the same person.
Right.
But even if they don't directly get involved, yeah. But anyway,
It's, we've actually been having this kind of discussion, right? Where, who deserves to be in the credits, right? And who deserves to be on the box, and, how the industry seemingly leans towards designer, right? Like,
Yeah.
when you say X game, all you go, oh, X person designed that game, right? But
when,
is the
like,
game
as a developer, you probably spent just as many hours or more on development than the designer did on design.
and the game that comes out is hardly the same game the designer gives
Yeah.
you, right?
It can be pretty different. Like a game like Card Catcher is almost entirely design, but a game like
Right.
BattleCon or Exceed is almost entirely development. So it's it really skews, and yeah, I think it's time we recognize our developers more.
Yeah. Well, not just developers, right? But like, this is why we started putting artists on the box, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, a lot of a game's experience is also the UI, the art, and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And like
99% of people
on its art.
Yeah. Like 99% of people would not be as amicable to Root, I bet, if it was just all a bunch of geometric shapes instead of cute animals, right?
Thomas was
so-
alone did okay.
Yeah, Thomas Was Alone did pretty good. But imagine if that game had no voice acting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
what we need.
So
We need
it's
to
like,
make a game that's Root but with voice acting.
what does that mean?
Hmm.
What? Okay, so we are an anime production studio, and the different factions are just different jobs in the studio. And, we're making the dub to a popular anime in English. How about that?
Yeah, that might be
Way
something
too
like
deep?
that. I think we
We're
might
way
be
too
going.
deep?
We might be getting into the mid game break or the mid show break already.
Oh, no. Okay. Before we get there, let's do a final thing, a little thing. Brad, we've talked about a bit of news. We've talked about games that come out. Let's talk about what we're doing on the marketing side, initiatives.
Yeah, so we have a new initiative for independent art for Millennium Blades, and you might intuit that this means that there's more Millennium Blades stuff coming out at this
Or
moment.
maybe not.
We will
Or
neither
maybe you
confirm
don't.
nor deny that. We will just say that we're buying a bunch of cool art for Millennium Blades, and you're going to get to see it very soon. So look out for that. Marco will be posting Millennium Blades art in the near future. So
Yeah, it'll be great.
it's super cool. Like the sketches that we've gotten so far are awesome. I love doing these art initiatives. Now that like we did the first one for Bullet, like it's all I want to do anymore is get a bunch of independent art of our characters. It's so fun.
It'll be great. Some of these pieces are awesome.
Yeah, very stylish.
Very stylish.
But
Okay.
yeah, look
Brad-
out for that soon, and more Millennium Blades announcements potentially in the future.
But you know what's happening in the present?
The
Segue.
mid-show break.
The mid-show break, everyone! This Level Up Live cast has been brought to you by our Discord boosters. Discord boosters, they're awesome people who keep our server fun by giving us emotes, giving us all of these cool Discord privileges. And if you want to be a Discord booster yourself, well, you can do so by checking out the Discord Booster program. You'll be able to get cool discount codes for the Level 99 game store while also contributing to our community. And of course, if you get to 1 year of support, you'll get a cool, awesome prize in the mail. Yes, we will send you a cool bespoke thing handmade by Brad Dalton
Egg
himself.
still needs to update their address for me to receive.
Okay, very specific. We're
Am I
calling
saying that
out
on live?
Discord
Actually,
boosters.
Egg's not even here. Why am I saying that? Okay. Cool.
All right.
All right. Well,
Thank
Egg, if you listen to this live cast in post when it's not live, then yeah.
This unlive cast.
Yes, the unlive cast. We should do that for Halloween.
Oh, that'd be so cool. We just pre-record.
Yes.
All right. So, but Brad, with every mid-show break comes a mid-show game. I am going to be introducing all of you guys to Game Junk. You know what a game jam is? Well, this one is we try to make best of complete garbage. Hence, Game Junk. Let me tell you how this works, Brad.
Okay.
So we're here to make the best out of the worst game ever. You, my dear friend, are going to provide us with a game genre for a board game or a video game, whatever.
Me.
Then chat, you
Okay.
give the first genre. Chat, you sabotage Brad by giving him the worst second genre to be paired with that first one. And then after that, Brad and I will do our best to make an actually playable game. Okay?
Okay.
So, Brad, I'm gonna give you some help here by letting you pick the first genre, so
Okay.
that it's a bit in your wheelhouse.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I will pick. Gosh, let's do Zach likes. So these are sandbox puzzle
Zachtronics?
games. Sandbox puzzle games in the vein of Factorio or what's another good one like Space Chem? Games where you get a bunch of devices, and you kind of build a Rube Goldberg machine. Yeah, there you go. Thanks Quixotic for sharing that. So that's sort of what a Zach like it looks like. Okay, cool.
All right, so chat. So a Zach like, aka a Factorio like, aka Edgen.io, Edgen.io. How do you pronounce that? So give Brad the worst possible genre to pair with a Zachtronic game. If you were to create a Zachtronic game of hell, what would it be?
What are we getting here? Okay, let's see. I see dating sim.
Dating sim.
I'd say trick taking puzzle.
Visual novel is very similar to
visual
dating
novel
sim.
again. Yeah.
Brad, it sounds like you have to make, or we have to make, a Zachtronic dating sim.
Electronic dating sim. Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Wow.
I already have an idea.
This is oh gosh.
First?
Okay, what's your idea, Marco?
Okay. Setting. Cyberpunk-ish world. And I'm not saying actual cyberpunk. I'm talking more about Blade Runner, right?
Okay.
Blade Runner
As a genre.
like world.
Cyberpunk is a genre.
Cyberpunk is a genre, right? You are a nascent member. You are a newly born member of this nascent breed robot race that is almost indistinguishable from humans. Okay? All right? You are trying to navigate the world of love and relationships with other androids who are more experienced than you or humans. Okay?
Uh-huh.
But you, the person playing, are not actually playing out the robot. You are the robot's brain trying to program love, emotions.
So you're trying to
and
manufacture
responses.
these emotions in sufficient
Yes.
quantities to make the responses that you need
For
advance
the
story.
Right, so you don't actually. It's not like there's a bunch of choices. It's not like a man approaches you at the bar, A, B, or C. That's not it, right? You need to literally program the neurons in your brain to give the kind of response you want to the other person.
Amazing. Okay. That's very interesting. I like this. Marco. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Optimal love. Build the correct emotion regulating hormones. Select your response.
Wow. Oh man. No, that's quite cool. Okay. Well, you guys definitely solved it for me. So why don't you do one, Marco? Why don't you start with one?
Okay, then you'll do the game. Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
I'll come up with
Okay, chat, give me the worst genre to put on an JRPG. Like, just give me the absolute most dog garbage thing for JRPG, and we can go from there.
So JRPG is your class, okay, and then chat will select a
sports. No, not sports. It can't be sports.
I feel like
that
Pyre
actually
will
is
give
good.
me the JRPG sports already.
Oh my god, do you not know about... Okay, wait.
You're telling me this actually already exists?
Yeah, bro. Okay, let me show you this game. Let me open my Steam. Because we don't need to think about that game. That game that already exists, and it's good. Okay, it's not out yet, but I played the demo, and the demo is freaking amazing. Let me find the name of the game. Just give me a bit here.
Well, I like Sudoku, so I'm gonna go ahead and select from chat Sudoku as your
Oh, okay.
Because I think this is a fun challenge, right? A Sudoku JRPG. And,
well, obviously the cop out would just be to make a regular JRPG combat game. But the story is about a bunch of shogi Sudoku masters, right?
So I'm actually thinking that what we'll do is we'll make your level up grid into a Sudoku. So you have different kinds of talents, right? And they're different colors. And in order to slot all these talents, you have to make sure that they don't like cross. And so each character is an axis. And the talents that you're going to assign to them on your grid. So if I assign, a green talent for this character, then or in this cell, it means that character A on that axis has it, and character B on that axis has it. But then I can't put another green talent into that segment. And so
no.
So now your level up mechanism is to play Sudoku with your ability spheres, or whatever we want to call them.
It's the sphere grid with extra steps.
It's probably looks a little bit more like license board, I think, but
license board also works. Maybe like the cost chip system from Mega Man Battle Network.
Yeah.
Also kind of works.
Yeah. Yeah, I like. You
should have a way to fail.
Yes, if you misplay, you lose your level up. You have to wait till the end of the next combat to try and place the next ability sphere.
That's so cursed, man. Like, imagine if the game just goes, you didn't level up, go back to 0 EXP for this level. Wild. Okay, chat. So chat and people watching on YouTube. Which of these two games would you buy? Zachtronics dating sim, made for love. That's the name. Okay. Or JRPG with Sudoku level up mechanics. Brad, give us a name.
Let's see. Gosh, it's tough. Names are tough for this thing. Let's see. How about
Killer 15 or something?
No, I'd call it like something square, like
level by numbers.
Probably like
level by numbers.
Exo Square or something. Make it like a space.
Exo Square.
Game. Yeah.
Yes. And the DNA of the universe is made with Sudoku. Like the ancient gods of this universe built it on Sudoku. Exo Square.
Yeah.
Would play Made for Love though. Yeah, all right, Brad. Now you gotta make a Zachtronics dating sim.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Okay, that's enough for the mid-show break, everyone. That's been Game Junk. I think all of you will come to see these games come to pass in the future, or not. Who knows?
We need to just make a Zach-like tabletop game at some point.
Dude, we should totally just make a TTRPG that's like your player board is just a Zachtronics factory machine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Actually, Quixotic and I once talked about on the chat about making a TTRPG that's like Diablo, right? Like an ARPG, right?
Hmm.
And like you automate combat using a flowchart factory system, and every
Mm.
class just has their own custom made flowchart.
Yeah,
You know,
that's kind
Big-
of like our oh gosh, that was like our Mega Man game way back then that we never got to publish.
oh man, don't bring that up to me. Okay, let's move on to the second segment here. Brad, you wrote a book. What
Okay,
the
yeah,
heck?
I wrote a book. I wrote a book, and it's available now on our blog. We're putting up one article, so the book is a collection of articles. Let me just go back. Okay, this is a book. It's a game design manual. It's called Guidelines for Strategy Game Design, and it's now got a heading under our website. So if you go to level99games.com and you click on
Go to blogs.
blogs, it'll drop down
Yeah.
and you can see guidelines for strategy game design. You can click on it, and that'll take you to the starting point. Um, and so, anyway, so that's that. And that book is out now for those who are interested in game design as a discipline. Yeah, and the it is a collection of what do I say? It's kind of like a commonplace book. Have you ever heard of this concept before? Which is where a commonplace book is a book where people write down kind of like their life lessons, like all the things that you want to remember. It's yeah, it's a sort of a I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I've tried to put together here is useful advice for board games, and it starts with a big index, and in that index is a bunch of statements that you can make about games, right? And I'll just go to the thing so I can start reading here. Like play delivers on the pitch, activities are clearly defined, right? And there's a whole diagnostic of these, about 25 different points that you can go through and check off for your design. And if and then if one of those doesn't work out, you're like, oh well, how do I do feel like my moves don't have depth. How do I change that? You can go to that section of the book, and it'll give you some practical advice on how to post, that.
So it's like
So
an actionable kind of book, more
yeah,
than a textbook.
yeah,
Really.
it's meant to be a practical, like use it in the field kind of guide, as opposed to a big textbook of game design, which is what I usually see in this space. So
I think this is really useful because how do I explain this, right? So I've used this a little bit, and I've read it a little bit, and it's just really useful for when you get stuck on something and then you just read the article you need. It's kind of like having Brad in your ear nudging you along whenever you need advice. It's kind of what it feels like.
that's
And
the goal. Yeah, is to kind of
yeah,
like package good advice for all different kinds of designers, and at whatever level you're at, in game design, there's a lot that you can use here, but it's not
yeah,
like a cover to cover kind of book.
yeah. And I think it's very nice that it's practical, right? It's meant to
Hmm? Oh, Marco,
like,
I think you cut out there for a bit.
oh, sorry. I said I like that it's practical and meant to be used, right?
Yeah, I
Because
think we
it's not
need more books
very
like this, that are actual useful tools, as opposed to just big tomes.
academic textbooks, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
but
it's so like we don't have a trade person book. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And it's so nice to kind of have it. But Brad, why did you make this? Like
Oh,
is it to address that need, to address that empty space?
well, yeah, I was invited to to like a game jam like event, where a bunch of designers were going to be playing, and and I started thinking about, well, what advice would I give to the designers that are there, and so I started writing all this down and thinking about it, and realized that I wanted it to be something that was like clear and short and practical and useful, on the spot, as opposed to kind of like a a lecture that everybody could forget. So yeah, so in the end, I went to the to this model, and I'm really happy with the result. I think it's a great book, but don't take my word for it. You can read the articles and see. And at the time when the whole book is done, we'll offer a physical edition published.
Nice. So for people who don't know, you can start reading it by just going to our website, but not all the articles are there yet. We'll be releasing one every Wednesday.
Is it? I think it's Thursday.
Sorry, every Thursday, and I'll be posting about it every Friday on social media, just so you guys remember. So there you go. It's gonna be awesome. The latest one is just the activities are clearly defined. And Brad, I'll be real with you. Not a lot of games have their activities clearly defined. I thought this was a given. Okay, you have to understand, Brad, okay? Reading this book is simultaneously eye-opening, but not always in the way that makes me confident about the industry. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the stuff you put in here is stuff that I just go, well, duh. But the fact that you put them in here means it's not a given, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's because I literally grew up playing your games and literally grew up talking to you about design and development and stuff.
Just because you played my games is not a clear indication that all the advice in this book has been followed. Like I said, I did learn a lot of this stuff through error. But
no, but that's my point, right? Like we've gotten to the modern era where these principles are mostly followed, not always, right? Sometimes you got one of my principles is sometimes you got to break principles to make the game better, right?
Yeah, and it's true even today, right? Like we'll see things that are, what's the word? Games that break the rules or that break best practices that I develop. And do it kind of with the knowledge that that's going to be okay in this situation or in this limited way, especially when we get to like talking about simple instructions and stuff. Simple instructions is like everything we learned from Pixel Tactics. It's yeah. So, but anyway, but that's guidelines, and yeah, it's coming out every week, and it'll just come out in order. So you'll get to you'll probably see the first section by the end of, at the end of what's the word? The end of February.
Okay, wow, you forgot the word February?
I was trying to calculate if it was going to be February or March, but
so you're calculating. Okay, I thought you literally
yeah,
you literally
I'm
forgot.
Still not sure about it. It might be more like March.
Okay, well that's totally fine. Oh my gosh. All right, Brad. This month's episode is not really that long because we kind of had an episode at the start of the month. Brad, when's the next episode of the Level Up live cast?
Oh, did you write that down somewhere for me? Because
it's at the end of February.
Oh, okay.
I was making a joke because you forgot the month of February.
Ooh, that was so Brad,
yeah. What month is
February? Thanks, man.
Yeah. Let's make fun of Brad. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Oh well, Brad. It's been nice having you here. Do you have anything else you want to say to the audience before you bolt? I mean, don't you have to be a family man?
Yeah, it's time for me to get off to school and pick up Catherine. Oh man, Mark, you would have been so proud. Catherine was just standing around doing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure poses.
Why?
Just because. And I asked her, "What are you doing?" And she's like, I'm practicing my poses." And then she did a bunch of these dynamic poses, and I was like, "Wow, these are good poses."
These man, every day I learn things about Catherine, and I go, this kid's gonna grow up to be pretty cool.
She's super cool already.
It's true. Named after awesome name, awesome poses. Well, everyone, thank you all so much for being here with us on this month's Level Up live cast. We will see you all next month near the end of February. It's been me, your host, Mark DeSantos, also known as Made for Love, creating dopamine so that we can make the outro. And with us, has been the ever amazing, ever wonderful, and ever functional president of Level 99 Games himself.
And future designer of future Exo Square, the Space Sudoku JRPG, Brad Talton. And yeah, thank you all for joining us. And we will look forward to seeing you at the end of that other month that comes after this one.
Yeah, I
for
forgot.
The next Level Up Live.
Was
so
it
until then?
Was it Secunuary?
Yeah, I think that sounds right to me, Marco.
All right. Until then, everyone, happy gaming.
Happy gaming, and